Thank you, Mayor. And thank you for the presentation. Rudy, did you say you annually allocate $1 million to the REAP program? Is that correct?
It's about 800,000, Councilwoman. Yes, ma'am.
About how many customers does that help?
Yeah, I don't know that for sure, but we'll
Okay.
get those numbers for you, ma'am.
Curious.
It's, the benefit is $400, up to $400 annually, so we can do the math and back into it. But, I mean, we maximize the utilization of that REAP program every year. We got some, kind of frequent flyers that, we go to and help, pretty regularly.
And they can come to you as many times as they need to, as long as they don't go over the 400?
Twice a year,
Oh.
for up to $400, right?
Up to $400.
Yes, ma'am. And that's the exemption for this year that we're going to try to waive at the next board meeting, is to be able to give them, additional funds and one more payment to help them in the fall.
Okay. So potentially with another 5 million, you could increase the amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Or at least the
Yes, ma'am.
frequency with which?
We're still
they-
working on the
Okay.
math, but yes, that's the idea.
The goal would be to increase that pipeline on that program, Councilwoman.
Okay. The 50 million, is that based, well, it's more than the 50, I know, but we're talking about 50 million. Is that based on actual revenue that's like in the bank right now, or are you counting accounts receivable? I mean, is that a guaranteed?
The majority of that money is going to be in the bank. We do have some estimates built in through the end of September.
Okay.
And so, but the majority of that money is in the bank currently.
Okay.
And I would like, I was talking to Patrick back here on the REAP program, and just to give you some context, the REAP program assists about 12,000 households annually.
12,000? Okay. Thank you. I've talked before about how we can, when it comes to extreme weather, we can only claim to be caught off guard once. And after the winter storm and the extreme heat of this summer, our constituents are expecting us to act. Extreme weather has become a public safety issue in our city. I never thought that that would be something, I would say, being born and raised in this city, I never thought that we would have this extreme weather. One of the beauties of living in our part of the world is that we don't have historically this type of weather. So it's kind of I feel like we're approaching, something we've just never really had to deal with that much. But I have spent a lot of time talking with the good people I represent on this particular issue, and especially since our last meeting. And I will say that over half support putting the money towards weatherizing homes. The other half, or the other 45% or so, requested the rebate. There was no support for any other idea. It was one or the other. I think, weatherization obviously reduces energy cost, eases the demand on our energy grid. And by some estimates, weatherization can reduce carbon dioxide emissions by 1 ton per weatherized household. There are many families with children, elderly, people with special needs, whose health and safety require that their house stay cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. The Community Action Corporation of South Texas has been weatherizing homes for several years. They estimate a savings of $413 for each weatherized home. So I asked a question about REAP because I wonder if that same 12,000 is about the number that we would be able to, or at least they would have access to potentially weatherizing their homes. There's a lot more that go into that. I understand, the condition of their homes in general. But it's worthwhile. I think it's worth exploring. I want to say as a caveat, if we as a council decide against directing funds towards a weatherization program, I would support the recommended rebate. I don't like the idea, all worthwhile causes that my colleagues have brought up, but I think that these funds need to stay in the energy lane, either towards energy efficiency or back to the consumer. Real quickly, I don't understand the benefit if we go the route of rebating to the consumer. I don't understand the benefit of delaying their payment. If we decide to give folks a rebate, I don't understand why we would delay it to December or even November. I trust the community to use their potential rebate as they see fit, not make them wait because a holiday is coming up, some of whom don't even celebrate that holiday, by the way. So, I just think that if we go that route, we should do it up front, be expedient about it. I don't really understand that. But going back to the weatherization, I'd like to see if we can leverage some of this funding as well, and going back to the Community Action Corporation of South Texas and see how we can work with them to potentially make a bigger impact of the surplus funds. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabello Havrda. Councilmember McKee, Road